Hi, Trends Recapper here. In this video you're going to see the incredible transformation of a boy who is assumed as a fool by everyone he meets. But what they don't know is that he's actually a genius in his own way, and you're about to find out how he does it. Stay tuned. Ishan is an 8-year-old kid with a lot of ideas. Among his friends, he is known as a troublemaker. He gets bad grades in every subject and is the worst student in his class. He is in the 3rd grade for the second time, and his report card shows that he will have to repeat the same grade. Johan, Ishan's older brother, is a better student than Ishan. Outside of school, he plays tennis, and in the next interstate tennis championship, he will be competing. Ishan often gets into fights with the mean kids in his neighborhood. One day, the mother of a boy named Ishan tells his father, Kishore, how bad he is. He has to say sorry to the kid and his mother in a way that makes him look bad. After they leave, he punishes Ishan by throwing him to the floor. Even though Kishore loves his kids, he treats Ishan too badly. He thinks that Ishan's low grades and inability to do simple things are due to his being lazy. Ishan's English teacher asks him to read a line from the book the next day at school. He tries hard, but he can't say much. He has trouble figuring out what the letters mean, but his teachers think he is being a brat. When she tells him over and over to read, he yells nonsense and is kicked out of class. Ishan has been punished before, so this is nothing new. In fact, he spends most of his time outside instead of studying because his teachers think he makes it hard for other students to learn. Ishan hadn't done his MUT work that day. He skips school so he doesn't have to face the MUT teacher. He spends the whole day wandering around the neighborhood. He makes the most of the day by getting ice cream, hanging out by the water, and watching people go by. By the end of the day, he is back on his school bus, and no one has noticed that he was gone. We watch him make a beautiful painting at home. Ishan loves to paint, and his creative mind helps him make pieces that are out of this world. Later, his mother Maya tries to teach him and make him do his homework. She sees that his handwriting is bad and that he can't spell much. She thinks he is lazy because he can't do something, so she scolds him like everyone else. The next day, Ishan will have to give his teacher a note from his parents explaining why he was sick. He asks his brother to write the note for him because he is afraid of getting in trouble. Johan writes the note and makes him promise that he will never miss school again. The kid shows it to his teacher, who doesn't doubt that it's real. He also acts like he has a cough to make it look like he is sick. On that day, the kid's MUT teacher gives them a test out of the blue. Ishan is given the test paper, but it looks like the letters are dancing to him. In the first question, he is asked to multiply 3 by 9. The kid thinks that Earth, the 3rd planet, and Pluto, the 9th planet, are at war with each other. He imagines that the Earth will destroy Pluto, so he thinks the answer is 3. He turns in the test, leaving the rest of the questions blank. When asked by his friends, he says with confidence that he really liked the test. Kishore comes back from a business trip the next day. Ishan is so happy to see his father again that he gives him a big hug. But when Kishore is eating breakfast, he finds the fake note from the day before. When he looks into it, he finds out that Ishan ran away from school and was wandering the streets alone. The next day, his parents met with his teachers and the principal, who were both upset with how he was acting in class. They also find out the results of the recent MUT test. The principal thinks that Ishan is a unique child who needs to go to a school for kids with special needs. Kishore can't stand the idea that his son might be sick or hurt. Both parents are worried about their child's future, so they decide to send him to a boarding school. Ishan doesn't like the idea at all. He doesn't want to go and cries and begs them to keep him at home. His parents don't want to be apart from him either, but they do what they think is best for him. That night, Ishan has a nightmare about being in a crowd and losing his mother. He wakes up screaming. When she tries to calm him down, he says he'll study harder if they let him go home. This makes Maya very sad, but Kishore is set on his choice. The day finally comes when Ishan is taken to the rural boarding school. He will have to live with other kids in a dorm and can only see his family once a month. It's a nightmare for the 8-year-old boy who has never been away from home. The hostel warden welcomes him by telling him that he can't act the way he used to. The family feels sad as they leave the school after seeing it. Ishan just stands there and cries as their car drives away. Even after he can no longer see the car, he stays like that for a few minutes. As night falls, he walks into the hostel while still crying. He never talks to anyone and doesn't eat much dinner. When he can't sleep at night, he goes to the bathroom and quietly cries because he misses his mother. Maya gets home and starts looking through Ishan's things. She is shocked to find a flip book that shows him being taken from his family. When she reads the book, she sees how much the child hates being away from them. This breaks her heart. Ishan has trouble with simple things like tying his tie and shoelaces in the hostel. On his first day of Hindi class, Mr. Tyree puts him on the first bench with Rajan, who is the best student in the class. The teachers quickly figure out that Ishan isn't like other kids. He doesn't pay much attention in class, so his art teacher makes him do things. Nothing has changed about him since the last school. He is always sent outside as a punishment, and he can't take part in the class activity because he messes it up. Over time, he gets so angry that he rips up his books and throws them away. He stops trying to do better in school and starts to feel bad about himself, which makes him feel worse and worse. When his parents come to see him after a month, he locks himself in a room and cries for the first time since he last saw them. When he is told to do something, he runs outside and does several laps around the basketball court. To give him a break from the hostel, his family takes him to a hotel for the night. Johan gives him a gift basket full of painting supplies, but he doesn't know that Ishan has stopped being creative in painting altogether. The next day, they say goodbye and leave him alone once more. Later that day, Ishan is at his lowest point. He looks down from the school's terrace and wonders what it would be like to jump from that height. His only friend, Rajan, talks to him about their new art teacher and stops him from thinking. Ishan doesn't think it's important because no teacher has ever helped him. But the kids are surprised when their new teacher, Ram, comes to class dressed as a joker. He does things that no other teacher does. He sings a song, plays the flute, makes them dance, and lets them enjoy the class. The old Ishan would have loved all of this, but the sad Ishan doesn't do any of it. The students' first assignment is to draw or paint anything they want. Ram wants them to show him how creative they are so he can figure out what he needs to work on next. The other kids start drawing things that are all different, but Ishan doesn't even touch the paper. At first, Ram thinks the kid is just taking some time to think, but when class is over, Ishan's paper is still blank. Ram asks him what's wrong, but he doesn't say anything. That night, Maya calls Ishan to talk, but he doesn't say anything. He just holds the phone to his ears. He is told that the next visit will have to be put off for a week because Johan has a tennis match. Ishan sees this as proof that no one in his family cares about him. He sheds one tear and walks away without saying anything. Ram sees Ishan kneeling outside the classroom the next day. Because of the way he acts, he asks Rajan about him. Rajan says that no matter how hard Ishan tries, he has trouble understanding letters. Ram works at a school for kids with special needs, so he has a soft spot for kids who are different. To learn more about Ishan, he looks through his old notebooks and notices that he makes the same mistakes over and over again. Even when he is teaching the special needs kids, he can't stop thinking about Ishan. He had the same problem when he was young, so he can relate to the kid. After a few weeks, he figures out what Ishan's real problem is and goes home to talk to his parents. They make him feel welcome and let him look at Ishan's room. Ram is shocked to learn that Ishan used to be an artist. This makes him feel even worse that the pressure on the kid made him lose his shine. Nankishore makes fun of his son by saying that he is lazy and doesn't like to study. Ram gets back at them and shows them how Ishan keeps making the same mistakes. He often turns the letters around as if he can't tell them apart. Still, the father thinks it means being lazy, but Ram tells him he is wrong. He says Ishan has a brain disorder called dyslexia that makes it hard for him to understand patterns like letters and words. He also has trouble coordinating, which makes it hard for him to do things like tie his shoelaces. No one knew the kid couldn't read, so they thought he was just being lazy. This must have caused him a lot of pain. Nankishore gets angry at Ram because he thinks that Ram is calling his son a retard. Ram asks him to read foreign letters written on a box to help him understand. When Nankishore gets in trouble for not knowing what the letters mean, he finally understands what his kid must be going through. Still, he won't accept that his son can make a living doing what he loves most, which is painting. Ram is going to show him that he is wrong. The next day, when he goes back to school, he tells the kids about all the famous people in history who weren't so good at school when they were young. Ishan feels a lot better about himself after he tells them about scientists, actors, and philosophers. When Ram asks them who invented the light bulb, Ishan speaks for the first time in weeks and says, Thomas Edison. Ram sees a little bit of hope that the boy might be able to learn. Later that day, Ishan is by the pond when he makes a boat out of rubber bands and leaves. Ram is so amazed by the structure that he takes it home with him and keeps it as a decoration. Ishan's creative juice are starting to flow again, but he still has a long way to go before he can study like other kids his age. Ram goes to talk to the school's principal about Ishan's problem one day. The principal says they should send him to the school for kids with special needs, but Ram is sure Ishan can learn with the other kids. He wants the teachers to figure out what the kid's problem is and help him in that way. Ram says he can teach Ishan every day after school, but the principal says it's not possible. Because it's good for the child, the principal lets it happen. Starting the next day, Ram comes up with new ways to teach Ishan how to tell the letters of the alphabet apart. They learn by playing in sandboxes, with Play-Doh, using their senses, and so on. Ishan also learns mutt with the help of audiobooks and stares. In just 2 months, he starts to understand the letters that the other teachers had tried for years to teach him. One day, Nankishore goes to Ram's school to tell him that he and his wife are doing more research about their son's illness. He wants Ram to know that he is not a deadbeat dad and that he is proud of who he is. Ram, on the other hand, says that the child's lack of confidence is because of the father, which even Nankishore can't deny. On his way out, he sees Ishan looking at the notice board and trying to read it. He feels bad that he hurt his child without meaning to, so he cries and can't look at him. A few days later, Ram plans a painting contest for the school's teachers and students. Everyone joins together in the amphitheater. Ishan paints for the first time with the supplies that his brother gave him. When the competition begins, everyone starts drawing. Then the teachers have fun and do their best at the event. At the end of it, Ishan paints a beautiful picture of himself sitting by the pond. He goes to the front to hand in the painting and sees that Ram has painted a picture of him. He can't say anything about what he sees. A little while later, they say that the winning painting will be on the cover of the new yearbook. The principal says that it was hard to choose because Ram's and Ishan's paintings stood out the most. In the end, Ishan is named the winner, and Ram gets the second-place prize. The crowd cheers loudly. Ishan finally feels like his skills are being noticed for the first time in his life. He can't stop crying, so he runs to his teacher to give him a hug. In the last scene, Maya and Nankishore go to school for the end-of-year meeting between parents and teachers. The principal shows them Ishan's painting on the cover of the school's yearbook and brags about how talented he is. The parents are shocked because they are not used to all the new attention. The principal also says that Ram did a great job teaching the child how he needed to be taught. Later, Ishan's parents meet with his teachers, who show them his report card and say nice things about how much he has grown. Outside, the couple smiles and cries as they watch their son play. Nankishore thanks Ram for helping Ishan and says he's sorry for the way he acted. Ishan finally says goodbye to Ram and takes a vacation in his hometown. That was all from the video. I hope you liked it. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and hit the like button to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.